Okay. Rich internet applications. What does that mean? Consistent UIs integrates well with REST, which is, as you may know, what Rails prefers for web services, or at least that's what the consensus is now. And it's written in Flash, so it fully leverages Flash. The entire stack. You get imaging, videos, audio. You also get the ability to maintain state on the client, and you also get a full object-oriented language called ActionScript, which is similar. It's basically a strongly typed JavaScript. For every benefit, there's a cost. Your client has to have Flash installed, so you probably don't want this on your home page unless you want people being redirected to Adobe, at least a certain percentage of them. So you'd have to consider what audience and what ways you use it. It also has the same problems as browsers with put and delete verbs in that it doesn't have them, so you have to hack it. But you're doing this if you're working with RESTful Rails, period. If you look at a RESTful Rails view, right-click, go to view source, you're going to see some JavaScript for handling the delete. That's another discussion. Okay, let's look at the actual app. I made a little app for this presentation. Who here likes Dig besides me? I'm going to go to Dig. That's where I waste most of my wasted time. So I made a little Dig browser that works as such. Oh, I'm not connected.
There's some wire that comes along the back of that wall there. It's usually clipped to the under edge. It's bright yellow.
Right. Oh, I see.
It floats around.
Okay. I only thought it was gone. All right. Okay. Let's refresh. Connection. Here we go. Okay. So in this upper left-hand panel, we have top digs currently. You click on one of them. It shows up in more detail down here. You get the description, icon. You can view it in a new window by clicking that. Of course, being a Doug site, it's going to take a while probably. And then you can bookmark it. So on the left, you're basically seeing an interface to Dig. On the right, you're seeing a Rails interface. When I click bookmark, it should be running here. And of course, the first time it's not worked right is in the demo. It's Murphy's Law. Okay, there we go. You can, so let's say you get home and you look at Dig when you should, double click from here, read it, and then you can delete links. So it's a fairly simple app, you know, just for demo purposes. So how does it work? This is an example of the XML you're getting back from Dig. It's fairly simple. Stories is the root story. Elements are nested in there, title, description, etc. Now, since this shows up pretty well, I think I'll show this in Flex Builder instead of Keynote. These are the 4 web service endpoints I've defined. Dig service is the get. Can you read this okay? Is it legible? Take these back. So Dig service is the first one. That you don't see the URL in there, but that's just going to Dig. Fairly simple. HTTP get. And then 3 for Rails service. 1 is to get the bookmarks, 1 to put the bookmarks, so post new ones, and 1 to delete them. So you basically define 1 per endpoint. This is the code, the entirety of the code for the data grid for the main digs. The interesting thing is the dig service. The date provider here is dig service, last result.story. I'm not having to capture any events saying, okay, I pulled dig, now I got something back, now I iterate over the results and load in a data grid. It's totally declarative. Anytime that dig provider refreshes, the data grid will refresh. Then the Data columns are based on basically XSLT filtering of that return result. So that's story.title, story.digs attribute. I won't go to the topic because that has to do with the way they formatted their XML. And then below, when you clicked on a row, it populated the details grid. Again, I don't have to handle any event here. It's totally declarative. In this case, it's based starting with the data grid itself instead of the underlying data source saying the currently